Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Caitlin from Leave Me Alone Plants, and today we are here with another plant experiment. Now, if you clicked on the title of this video, you're probably going down the path of understanding what we're going to be testing out today. If you've been to a big box store anytime in the last year, you've probably come across these monstrosities. Yes, painted succulents. I don't know why, I don't know how, I don't know where somebody came up with this awful idea, but for some reason, they are everywhere, and apparently people must buy them because they keep showing up in the store. So finally, I said enough was enough and decided we need to test this out for ourselves. Understand more about if plants really can survive if they're painted, and if not, how long are they gonna last before we start seeing adverse effects? So with that said, if you have a painted succulent, if you've thought about buying a painted succulent, or if you've just always seen painted succulents and wondered what the story was with them, then keep on watching and we're gonna get into everything you need to know about the wonderful world of painted succulents. Hold up, it's me from the future. Okay, I felt compelled to say this before this video got started. I know, I just know. Some of you are gonna comment down below and be like, oh my god, this is so dumb. This is like such a waste of plants. Listen, I know it's dumb and I know it's a waste of plants, but for that reason, I know that nobody else on the internet is going to make this video, which is why I had to make it. So listen, I know, it's dumb, it's kind of out there, but I just wanted to do this for me and, you know, in the name of science of plants. So if you don't want to continue watching, you of course don't have to. But if you're like me, you're curious, you just have to know what happens to painted plants, then keep on watching and we're really gonna get into it right now. Okay, but getting into the experiment itself. I need my lab coat, so hold tight real quick. Ah, yes, feeling smarter already. So the setup for this experiment, I have these two aloe plants here. This one on my right side is going to be the control plant, so we are just going to leave this guy completely normal, care for him as normal, and hopefully he is going to continue to just be, you know, a normal, average, happy aloe plant. This guy, on the other hand, we are going to be painting this aloe plant, but not just with any paint. We are going to be painting him with black 3.0, which I'll talk a little more about in a little bit. Additionally, I wasn't originally planning on doing this, but I thought it would be a good experiment to also compare it with one of the store-bought painted plants as well to see how that one fares. Just before I'm filming this, I actually went and picked one of these guys up, and I figured the best way to approach this was to get the most basic bitch looking one possible, so of course we went with hot pink. I'd like to introduce you all to my very first painted succulent. And finally, mostly for kicks and giggles, but also for the fact that it wouldn't be a leave me alone plant experiment if we didn't torture golden pothos, we also got a golden pothos. Now, I have pretty low expectations for how this guy is going to do painted, seeing as the ones that are in the store painted always are succulents, which makes sense because succulents basically you can abuse for the longest amount of time before you see negative effects. But with that said, I'm really curious to see how this paint affects this pothos and how long it survives for, if at all. And to be honest, I just think the idea of like a black golden pothos sounds really cool to me. So I'm not sure if I'm going to paint the entire thing or maybe half of it or like some of the leaves. We'll kind of figure it out in a minute, but yeah, these are the 4 plants that we are kind of going to be tracking. Now, as for our timeline, here's the thing. I'm not exactly sure how long I'm going to let this experiment ride for. Right now in my mind, I'm kind of thinking it's going to take a really long time before we're seeing effects on these plants. So at this moment, I think I'm going to let this experiment run for 1 month, and we're going to close out the video there, and then I will give you guys periodic updates in other videos of how the plants are doing. But if we see kind of big changes over that first month, then I will extend it out a little longer to kind of see how these plants progress within this video. Now, with all that said, and the thought that this video is going to be a month long in mind, I'm sure it will be a little on the longer side. So I will put chapters in the slider bar down below, as well as in the description, so you can fast forward to different points in this video if you don't want to watch the whole thing. I know some of you have commented that these experiment videos are too long, so hopefully that can be our happy medium here. So before we get these guys painted up, a little background on this pink one right here, which is basically the company that started this whole painted cactus trend. It comes from a company called Kosmik Kaktus, spelled with a K for both cosmic and cactus because, you know, like cool. Now, most often when I see these plants in the store, they seem to be gasteria, which kind of are similar to an aloe, but just a little bit on the rougher side in terms of texture. Interestingly enough, when I was reading the label on this plant, it doesn't specify what type of plant this is, so if you didn't know that, I guess you wouldn't know. It just advises that you give this plant a bright light and water it when it's dry, so that is how we are going to be caring for this plant over the next month. It also states that this color is non-toxic colorful coating that will eventually grow out over time. So they really are selling this as a plant that seems to be meant for longevity and not just something that, you know, you're gonna have for a couple weeks and then throw away. Although I kind of have the impression that if you're the type of person who buys these, you might be the kind of person who buys a plant for a couple weeks and throws it away. But who am I to judge? Maybe not. Maybe that's not the case at all. Now, I did a little research on this company again ahead of time, and based on what a lot of blog posts were saying is that this coating on here is basically like a food safe coating. So I'm not sure if it's kind of just like a concoction of food dye or what it is. I'll bring this plant a little closer so you can get a better look, but it almost looks as though it is flaking off of there already. So again, this is going to be our first, I'm not sure if I want to call it control, but basically the store-bought control version of this. We will set him aside. Now again, I have these two aloes. We are going to let this one be the one that goes unpainted as our other control, so you will see him in our next update. Finally, that leaves us with these two guys, so it is time to get painting. As I had mentioned, we are going to be using Black 3.0. Now if you have never heard of these like Black X.0 paints, they are super cool. So basically what they are is they're marketed as the mattest and the blackest paint that like your average consumer can buy. Now if you're super familiar with like the science of the most black paints available, then you will know Vanta, I believe that's what it's called, Vanta Black is like the number one blackest paint, but this is the one that is just the most available to consumers. Vanta Black is requires it to be created basically in a lab setting and applied in a lab setting. So, you know, despite us having over 1,000 subscribers now, we don't quite have the budget for Vanta Black coatings on our plants. So we're going to have to settle with Black 3.0, but either way, really, really excited about it. Now, coincidentally, it did say not to apply it with like a cheap, crispy paintbrush, but unfortunately, all I have here at the moment are cheap, crispy paintbrushes. If you're like a big art person watching this, please don't yell at me. I understand that this is not the way that it's supposed to be done necessarily, but we're not necessarily going for artistic perfection here. Really, I just thought it would be fun to test out this experiment. Now, the reason I had chosen this black paint over any other color or any other type of paint really started from the fact that I just love black. It is my favorite color, but also I have always really wanted to try this paint, so I figured that it was the perfect way to work this into one of my videos. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, this looks really cool already, and I really hope that this paint doesn't die. Now, kind of an added like factor here is of course the fact that this paint is not formulated specially to be on plants, unlike the one that I talked about on the Kosmik Kaktus. It is not necessarily like non-toxic. I'm not sure if this paint is toxic or not. Maybe we should be wearing a mask right now. But this is not in no way like formulated to be painted onto plants, so I'm really curious to see how the plants are going to react to this, and I think it kind of just adds a layer of complexity for anybody who wants to paint their plants at home. I'm not sure why you would want to, but hey, in the words of Henry Ford, if you asked the people what they wanted, they would have told you faster horses, not a car. So there you go. Now this black paint supposedly absorbs 99.9% of all light, and if you're into science like myself, then you'll understand that the reason why that is interesting is because the more light that a color absorbs, the more reflective it's going to be. So the reason why your average black paint or black anything that you see doesn't just look like, you know, a black hole and you see reflections and shadows and things like that is because it is not absorbing 100% of the light, and some of that light is being reflected back. So this really is minimizing that, and again, I believe that Vanta Black, it absorbs something like 99.9956%, So it's really marginal, but it does make a difference. Check out videos on it. It's actually really cool. Now the company that sells this, Culture Hustle, which I should have said earlier in the video, but is in no way sponsoring this. I just was really interested in this product. They actually sell a whole bunch of other like really cool art supplies. They have like these glow in the dark paints and like color shifting ones, so really cool stuff. I actually didn't look into the rest of their store before I placed my order, so looking back, I wish I would have tried some of their other stuff. We could have like glow in the dark plant. I guess if you guys enjoy this video, we can always do another one, but yeah, really cool stuff. So if you're into the arty world, then I highly recommend checking out their website. I will link it down below. Oh, also I forgot to mention, they claim that this is supposed to smell like coffee. I don't really think it smells like coffee. It honestly smells like paint, to be honest. And here's the other like messed up thing kind of about this. I remember reading earlier on here, it says right on the bottle, if you feel unwell, call your doctor and take this bottle with you. I feel like that's insinuating as though like if I ever feel unwell again, I am supposed to just carry around this bottle of paint with me and take it to my doctor. I don't know about you guys, but it sounds a little sketchy to me. Now, of course, the reason why painting plants seems like it would kill them, and likely will kill them, is for the fact that plants need to absorb light to go through the process of photosynthesis, but additionally they go through a process called transpiration, I believe it's called, which basically is their way of breathing through the leaves and being able to like absorb and release things. So I'm not sure the lack of which one of those processes will potentially result in the death of this plant, but I do suspect that it will unfortunately happen. Now I'm curious, place your bets down in the comment section down below how long you think these guys are gonna last. I specifically picked Aloe because they are a very hardy plant, and I think we are going to be surprised. I think that this plant is going to last much longer than you would likely anticipate, so we will see. And of course, like in the comment section down below, also I have to know if anybody has like independently done this on their own out of curiosity, because right now I kind of feel like a crazy person sitting in my house on a Sunday night painting an aloe with a $21 tube of black paint, but hey, to each their own, I guess. Okay, we just about have this guy all coated up. He is looking honestly pretty cool. I mean, I don't mean to toot my own horn at Kosmik Kaktuses, but I think that my Kosmik creation is looking a little cooler than what they sell at the store. Just saying. Okay. He's not dry yet, but here is the somewhat finished product of our aloe creation. Okay, so for the sake of not dragging out this video too long, I'm just going to pop off the camera and paint this golden pothos as well. I think I am just going to paint half the plant, and that way we can kind of have a comparison of how the one side does over the other. And yeah, so I will be back in 1 second. Okay, we're back. Also, side experiment, how long does it take for Black 3.0 to come off my hands? Hopefully not that long. So here are our two plants, here are the final result. Also, like, I don't care what your position is on this video, tell me that this golden pothos doesn't look kind of sick. Like, right? It's pretty cool. But okay, we've got these done. Basically, I am just going to continue to care for these plants as I normally would in a normal scenario. For the foreseeable future, and I'm just going to periodically check in with you guys on how these plants are doing, if there's any major updates, and we'll basically go from there with the rest of this video. So with that said, I'll see you guys when I see you. Something's happening, something's happening! Oh my god, you guys, okay, we're back with painted plants, and as I have said, things are happening. So it has been about 2.5 weeks since we have first painted our little plant babies. I know, I'm sorry. So of course we have our control plant. Nothing's really happening with him, to be honest. He's, you know, just doing his thing. Normal, completely the same. We'll set him aside. However, as for our painted aloe, you may or may not be able to see it from here. I think it's picking up on the viewfinder from what I'm seeing, but let me bring it a little closer. As you can see, it is starting to grow. There is new growth that was not painted that definitely was painted before. I literally like got all the way to the bottom. That is poking out, and like in my opinion, it is pretty substantial. Now, I was reading about succulents online and basically, you know, what happens to the store-bought ones when you paint them, which, by the way, our store-bought one, yeah, nothing's happening yet. It's just pink still. So we'll set him aside. But yeah, so the store-bought ones, I've read that when you paint them, basically any energy that they have left at the time of being painted, they're like freaking out. They're like, oh my god, I don't have any way to get energy. So they take all their energy reserves and put it into pushing out as much new growth as they possibly can. And in my opinion, that is exactly what happened to this plant. For only 2 weeks, I think it has pushed a remarkable amount of growth. And I'm really surprised to see just, you know, how much of the plant is actually showing at this point already. Now, none of the paint appears to be cracking off or anything like that. It doesn't seem to be, like, I guess, expanding from the point that it already existed. But with that said, additionally, like, the plant doesn't feel any different. Like, it's not squishy or like feeling dead or limp or anything like that. It literally feels exactly the same as our control plant. So overall, 2 weeks in, and despite this not being like plant safe paint, and despite this plant literally having zero access to light, somehow it's doing okay so far. So I guess, you know, 2.5 weeks out, if you want a pitch black succulent, then by all means go ahead and paint it. I saved the most interesting for last, and that is what is happening with our pothos. Oh my god, you guys, I am literally shook right now. Damn it, I just ripped a piece off. It's okay, it was the dead piece anyway. So part of the dead leaf I just accidentally ripped off came from this section right here. As you can see, this section, which interestingly enough is on the non-painted side, is completely started to die back, seemingly out of nowhere. I don't really know what caused that. Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe the fact that there is toxic paint sitting on these leaves. But yeah, it's super weird that like the non-painted side would be the side that started dying back. Now, as for how the painted leaves feel, it's really hard to say if they're like dead or not. Basically, the paint makes them kind of like stiff and thick feeling anyway, so I'm not sure if they're like feel that way because they're covered in paint or if they feel that way because they're still alive. But the craziest part about this so far, you guys, on the painted side, it put out a new leaf out of one of the painted shoots, and now, well, like, obviously I didn't expect it to come out black, but like, how crazy does this look that there's like a green leaf coming out of this side? Now, since we painted this plant has popped out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new leaves. So again, I think the same principles are at play here. I think this plant kind of is freaking out, like, oh my god, I'm able to get only half the amount of light that I was able to get before it, so let me push out a ton of new growth. Again, maybe this plant would have just pushed out that growth anyway, but I feel like this is a substantial amount of growth to be coming out of this pothos, especially considering the fact that in all seriousness, it should be like basically completely dead. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Are you as amazed by this new leaf as I am? Are you as amazed by the fact that this pothos isn't dead in general yet? I was pretty jazzed to see this. I do think I'm going to cut this dead bit back just to be sure that like nothing kind of rots up the plant this way. But yeah, overall, I thought what happened to this pothos was really, really quite strange and kind of interesting going forward. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it today. I am going out of town for the holidays, so I will be gone for a full week, and then I guess when we get back, I will reassess. Maybe we'll do another update then, maybe we'll wait a little bit longer, but I'll see you guys in whenever I see you. Hey guys, so we are at just shy of a month right now, and I just wanted to give another quick update on how the painted plants are doing. So starting out, we have our little store-bought guest area. Honestly, again, literally nothing has changed with this guy. Although what I will say is he's feeling a lot thinner. I'm not sure if he has like lost his ability to suck up water, but yeah, like his little puddles, I'm not sure if that's the right word, are feeling very thin at this point. So I'm gonna try going in and watering him again. I want to overwater him, but yeah, it's almost as though he is not sucking up water. So I'm almost wondering if when I bought this one from the store, if it was already dead. Yeah, really not sure at this point. That's what's happening here. Additionally, we have just our control, and as I said last time, you know, he's kind of just doing his thing. I did accidentally knock off one like little piece of his leaf. It's not because he's like sick or anything, it's literally just because I am clumsy and accidentally knocked off a piece. So again, that's really the only update that we have with this guy. Moving along to our black plants. Again, you guys, this aloe that we have right here continues to put out more new growth. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to tell a difference in the video from last time when we did the update, but again, I personally can tell a difference even from the last time that we updated this video. So the leaves are not feeling like mushy or weird or dead or anything, feels completely normal, and somehow still seems to be chugging along. Now I did go out of town for the holidays, and in full transparency, I was expecting to come back and have both these plants be completely dead. So I was really surprised again to come back and see this guy. Finally, that brings us along to our golden pothos. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've been enjoying this guy so much that I actually have potted him up in a legitimate pot, and he's kind of been doing his thing. The only problem is we are continuing to have this side die back. I am not really sure what's going on at this point. We had this leaf fall off completely, and we're still just having like a lot of growth kind of not do so hot back in here. So again, really strange. The painted side is actually thriving. If you guys can see, this new leaf is still coming out and it's looking great, and overall they're doing well. But yeah, the non-painted side, for some strange reason, is the side that is dying back. Now, when I was out of town, we did have one more new leaf come out. It is considerably smaller than the rest of the other ones that we have had come out before, but nonetheless, we still are getting new leaves put out on this guy. So with that said, we're almost at a month, and at this point, I'm basically flying by the seat of my pants. I'm still not sure how long we're going to continue to run this video for until we call it. I'm thinking I might do one last update, kind of just depending on what happens with this golden pothos. I'm really just waiting at this point to see if this plant completely dies back or if it kind of makes a rebound. So I think we're going to wait it out a little longer. That is our just about 1 month check-in. So I will see you guys in a little bit for what will probably be our last check-in on these plants. Okay, you guys, what's up? We're back. It is officially, okay, well, not quite, but just shy of 2 months now. So this is going to be our final check-in, and we have quite a bit of changes that have happened since the last time that we checked in, which I'm not really sure when it was. I think it was maybe like a month ago, a couple weeks ago. But yeah, with that said, let's get into it and let's do our final check on these plants. So starting out with our little pink store-bought Gasteria. Here we are. As you guys may be able to see, it's not dead. It hasn't completely like rotted or anything like that. It's still with us in theory, but nothing has ever changed on this plant. I honestly am almost like 100% convinced that this is just the shell of a plant with paint on top of it that is holding its structure, and yeah, it literally has not changed at all ever since we've gotten this plant. So yeah, basically I would say if you are really desperately wanting one of these painted plants, go into it with the mindset that maybe you might just be better off buying a fake plant from the store and painting it the color of your desired choice, because quite honestly, these Kosmik Creations, is that what they're called? Kosmik Cactus. Yeah, these Kosmik Cactus don't really seem to change or grow or evolve in any way. So yeah, that was my overall experience with these store-bought ones. Can't say that I would recommend them, but I mean, hey, you do you, I guess. So yeah, that's where we're going to leave our update for that guy. That brings us into our next plant that I wanted to talk about, and that is our control plant. As you can see, it's looking fine. Nothing too crazy has changed about it. We are getting a completely new leaf coming out of here. I'll have to look back at the video. This might be the second new leaf that we've gotten since having this plant in our care for the last couple months. But yeah, I mean, overall, you know, basically as you would expect, this aloe just grew as normal, continued to do its thing, and yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary here. That brings us into our painted aloe, and as you guys can see, it is still with us. Somehow, by some blessed miracle, I don't really know what happened, but this plant is still thriving. I'm not sure, again, how well you guys will be able to see it, but there is a ton of new growth that has popped out of here, and we are actually just now getting our first new leaf to come out of here. It is decently smaller than this one, but with that said, of course, all plants are going to grow at a different rate, so I can't necessarily say that it's smaller 100% due to the fact that this is painted. It might just naturally be, but yeah, surprisingly, despite having like toxic paint on it and not really having too much of a way to photosynthesize, really this painted plant seemed to keep up pretty well with the growth and overall health of the non-painted ones. So overall, I guess my thought here would be if you want to buy some aloe and you also want to buy some black 3.0 or whatever color is your favorite color paint and paint it, I guess go for it. It doesn't really seem to affect the plant as negatively as you would probably think it would. So yeah, with that said, we are going to retire this guy. Perhaps you will see updates of him on my Instagram if you follow me there. And yeah, that's that for the black aloe. And finally, our last plant, and the one that I had the strongest attachment to, I thought was the most beautiful, our half moon black golden pothos. And at the 2-month mark, this is what we're left with. So unfortunately, in the past few weeks, this plant has, well, as you can see, completely died. Yeah, it's 100% dead at this point. The strange thing is it really did quite well for quite a while, and then all of a sudden it just seemed to have hit a wall, and really in the matter of like a couple of days, completely died. So yeah, I guess the overall consensus is, unsurprisingly, that if you have a foliage plant that you want to paint, it probably is not going to last long term. With that said, if you're having a special event, maybe like a wedding or a party, or I don't know why you would want a black pothos, but I mean, okay, I do know why, because they look super cool. If you're having some kind of like short-term function that you want this plant for some reason to be painted for, you can definitely do it. This guy went a solid month plus without any issues, and as I had mentioned in the videos, even continued to put out new growth. So you definitely have some time with these plants, but as you can see, they're really not a long-term option. So I guess let me know down in the comments below. Did this end the way that you expected it to? Are you surprised in any way? Honestly, this is kind of what I was expecting, but I will say I am overall really impressed with the amount of growth that this aloe was able to put out. I think it was probably the most shocking thing to me. Additionally, maybe just how long this pothos lasted. Honestly, I expected within the first week that this plant would completely die, so the fact that it lasted as long as it did is still kind of interesting to me, I guess. So yeah, I guess we're gonna end this strange video here. If you liked it, if you somehow made it all the way to the end, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps me out and it helps me make more videos like this in the future. And if you are not subscribed, then subscribe for more videos, not about painting plants, but about plants in general. Thank you guys so much for sticking through all the way through this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.